Hello, little dreamers, and welcome. Snuggle up warm and cozy, and let's get ready for a story. Tonight, we're going on a journey up into the big, dark, velvet sky on a very special night. It's a story about a tiny star with a very big job. This is the story of the night the star waited. Once, a long, long time ago, on a night hushed with winter's chill, the sky was filled with countless stars. They twinkled and shimmered like a blanket of scattered diamonds. Among them, tucked away in a quiet corner of the galaxy, was a little star. This star wasn't the biggest or the brightest. In fact, most of the time, it felt quite small and ordinary compared to the grand, blazing giants that danced across the heavens. But this night was different. This was Christmas Eve. A soft, magical hum vibrated through the cosmos, a secret whispered from one celestial body to another. Something wonderful was about to happen on the little planet Earth below. The little star had heard the whispers from the ancient, wise comets and the giggling constellations. A king was to be born, a baby who would bring love and light to the whole world. And one special star was chosen to shine the way, to be a beacon for all to follow. The little star's core fizzed with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Could it be me? It wondered. Me? A tiny, flickering speck? The bigger stars seemed to think so. "You have the purest light," boomed Orion, his bell of stars glowing proudly. "Your heart is full of hope," twinkled the Pleiades sisters, huddling close. The man in the moon gave a slow, knowing wink. So the little star decided it would try. It would shine with all its might. It took a deep, cosmic breath, pulling in all the stardust and forgotten dreams floating in space. It thought of sleepy lambs in the fields, of warm bread baking in ovens, of the sound of a mother's lullaby. It gathered up all the love and all the hope it could imagine, and it began to glow. At first, it was just a small pulse, a gentle flicker. But the little star didn't give up. It focused harder, pouring every ounce of its energy into its light. It pushed, and slowly its glow grew stronger, warmer, and more brilliant than ever before. It wasn't a harsh, glaring light like some of the other stars. It was a soft, gentle, and inviting light, a light that felt like a warm hug. Down on Earth, the world was quiet. In the town of Bethlehem, houses were dark as families slept. Shepherds were watching their flocks on the hillsides, their faces turned up to the sky, their breath making little clouds in the cold air. They were used to the night sky, but tonight they noticed something new. A star, brighter and steadier than any they had ever seen, had appeared in the east. It seemed to be calling to them. Far away in lands of sand and spice, 3 wise men were studying ancient maps of the heavens. They too saw the new star. They were learned and knew the prophecies. This was the sign they had been waiting for their entire lives. Without a moment's hesitation, they packed their precious gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, mounted their camels, and began their long journey, their eyes fixed on the beautiful star that would be their guide. Up in the sky, the little star felt them. It felt their hope, their faith, and their determination. It knew its job was not just to shine, but to lead. It began to move slowly and gracefully across the sky, pulling a shimmering trail of light behind it. It sailed over dark mountains and sleepy deserts, over winding rivers that reflected its own beautiful light on their surface. The journey was long. The night was deep. Sometimes the little star felt its energy begin to wane. It felt tired, and the temptation to dim just a little was strong. But then it would think of the baby. It would think of the promise of peace and love that this child would bring. It would feel the steady gaze of the shepherds and the hopeful hearts of the wise men, and it would find a new reserve of strength. It drew power from the silence of the night, from the peaceful dreams of the world below. It shone for the donkey that carried Mary, giving him a steady path to walk on. It shone for Joseph, giving him courage and reassurance. It was a silent guardian and a celestial protector on this most holy of nights. As it moved, it passed other stars. Some of them cheered it on. "You can do it," they pulsed. "You're the most beautiful thing in the sky tonight." Others watched in silent awe. The little star, which had once felt so small and insignificant, was now the center of the universe's attention. It wasn't shining out of pride, but out of purpose. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of patient waiting and steady shining, the star arrived. It hovered directly over a humble stable in the little town of Bethlehem. It wasn't a palace or a castle, just a simple place where animals slept. But inside, bathed in the star's gentle, golden light, was the newborn king, baby Jesus, lying in a manger filled with soft hay, with his mother Mary and Joseph watching over him with eyes full of love. The star poured its light down, not just as a marker, but as a blessing. The light filled the stable, making the rough-hewn wood glow and the simple hay look like spun gold. It was a quiet, sacred moment. The waiting was over. The promise was fulfilled. Soon the shepherds arrived, their hearts full of wonder. They knelt and worshipped the baby, their faces lit by the star's glow. A while later, the three wise men completed their long journey. They too saw the star resting above the stable and knew they had found him. They entered and presented their precious gifts to the new king, bowing before the tiny child in hope of the world. The little star watched it all. Its job was done. It had guided everyone safely. It had shown its brightest and its best. It had been the beacon of hope on a night the world would never forget. As the first hints of dawn began to paint the eastern sky in shades of pink and orange, the little star began to fade. It didn't feel sad. It felt full. Full of peace, full of joy, and full of the incredible love it had just witnessed. It had been just a small star, but on that one magical Christmas Eve, it learned that even the smallest light, when it shines with purpose and with love, can change the world. It gently dimmed, its light blending back in with the coming daylight, its heart content. It would always remember the night it waited, and the night it shone for a king. And now, my dear little dreamer, as you close your eyes, remember the little star. Remember that even when you feel small, your own special light is full of hope and love. Let it shine brightly. Good night, sleep tight, and have the sweetest of dreams.